If something bothers you every single day and it's such a disturbance that it's ruining your life, then change something about it. I know that you listening have things like this in your life. Things that slightly annoy you every single day. And you're doing nothing about them. You're just getting annoyed, allowing them to annoy you every single day. The first rule so that nothing can affect you is an analogy the Stoics called the wrestler versus the dancer. The Stoics said that we must be more like the wrestler than the dancer, that the wrestler prepares for and stands ready for whatever life throws at them. This analogy is basically saying that the Stoics said that we must treat our minds like we treat our bodies, or we treat our minds like a wrestler treats their bodies. So a wrestler would work on their bodies 3 hours a day. They'll do the training that is necessary so that they can become a good wrestler. And so the wise person too puts energy and time into their mind. And the Stoics actually said it was more important to put energy and time into your mind. And the Stoics had workouts so that they could work out their mind. They could become better. And simply put, these workouts would be something along the lines of, in relation to this video, is listen to the 7 rules in this video. This is what the Stoics would have done, except it wouldn't have been a video, it would have been a speaker. Listen to the 7 rules, write down the 7 rules, practice the 7 rules. And then, at the end of the day, assess how those 7 rules went throughout your day. Think where you could have done better, what mistakes you made, and what progress you're making. And after a week of doing this, you assess again your progress. And over time, when assessing progress and doing these Stoic exercises, you'll start to build this mental resilience. You'll start to build this strength of character. So, you work out your mind like a wrestler works out their body. But what's the point of all this? The wrestler works out their body so that in a fight, they can be prepared. That no matter which way they're pushed, they can go with the pushes. They can adapt and throw their target, throw their enemy, and win the fight. And this is the same in life. When you prepare your mind to deal with hardship, to deal with heartbreak, to deal with hurt, to deal with pain, to deal with lust, to deal with greed, to deal with selfishness, then you're prepared for these things. So when an opportunity arises where you can take advantage of greed, lust, selfishness, you're a wrestler. You're ready to fight these impressions that life is giving you. When you're presented something scary, you're presented a challenge, you're a wrestler. You've built up your strength of character. You've built up your courage to fight this fear. You've built up your wisdom to combat this confusion. So we must be like the wrestler. Today's episode is powered by Huel. Let's jump into the episode. The second rule that the Stoics taught so that nothing can affect us comes from Epictetus. Epictetus was a slave born in Greece, Hierapolis, in 50 AD. And then one day he found his freedom, went out and taught Stoicism to the masses. But he said this idea of caution and confidence. And he says here, be confident in everything outside the will, and cautious in everything under the will's control. For if evil is a matter of the will, then caution is needed there. And if everything beyond the will and not in our control is immaterial to us, then those things can be approached with confidence. So this idea is, first of all, have confidence in things outside our will. And this is in reference, I know you know probably what the dichotomy of control is. Have confidence in the things outside of our control. We don't control them. We have to have confidence that our fate has been laid out for us and it is the natural order of the universe. It's going in the way it is. If you're religious, this is God's plan. Have confidence. If you're a religious person, have confidence in God. The challenges, the difficulties, the opportunities that God is presenting you are for the betterment of your life. The dominoes that are falling, that nature is falling and befalling in front of you, will always fall. And you have to accept that this is the way your life is leading. So you have confidence in these things. You don't control them, just have confidence that they're going to be all right. And have caution in the things you do control. Your impressions, your opinions, your motivations, your desires, your aversions. Assess these things. And this goes back to the working out like a wrestler. You've got to work out your impressions. You've got to work on these things. Be cautious of them. Think, is this the correct impression? The next rule that the Stoics used so that nothing can affect you is the gladiator versus the boxer. So the Stoics used this analogy. Well, Marcus Aurelius used this analogy that we want to be like the boxer, not the gladiator. You see, when the gladiator comes to fight, and this is going back to the wrestler preparing as such, we want to prepare like a boxer. When the gladiator comes up to a fight, the gladiator needs their tools. They need their axe, they need their shield, they need their armor, and they need to be in the gladiator field. In order to fight, they need these things. The boxer only needs their hands. So the idea of this is all the training you do, or the mental training this is, or the Stoic exercises you do, are preparing your body. So you don't need anything. And the Stoics talk about this is people write things down. People have all their lessons, their advice, their principles, their rules, and they have them down in books like this. But the thing is, having them in books like this are comparable to the gladiator's tools. This is just the gladiator's shield. And when these things are stripped from you, then you'd be defenseless. And so too would the gladiator without all his weapons. So to be like the boxer is to take action on all these things you're learning. So if you're watching this now and you're focusing on these 7 rules that the Stoics did, then actually practice them. Build up your strength of character, build up your resilience, build up your wisdom, build up your courage. And soon, no matter what challenge you're presented in life, you can fight them, as can the boxer. The next rule that the Stoics followed, so that nothing could affect them, is the concept that Marcus Aurelius wrote about on pain, on fame, and on death. So I read a passage from book 7 of the Meditations, 732 and 733 and 734. On death, either dispersal if we are atoms, or if we are a unity, extinction or a change of home. On pain, unbearable pain carries us off. Chronic pain can be borne. The mind preserves its own serenity by withdrawal, and the directing reason is not impaired by pain. It is for the parts injured by the pain to protest if they can. On fame, look at their minds, the nature of their thoughts, and what they seek or avoid, and see how, just as drifting sands constantly overlay the previous sands, so in our lives, what we once did is very quickly covered by subsequent layers. So this helps you because, first of all, the biggest fear in life, and this is usually attached to every other fear, is the root cause of nearly every other fear, is the fear of death. And the Stoics actually said one of the most important things you can do in life is to come to terms with death. To look at death, see that death is a natural part of life. Because what happens is, once your fear of death goes away, then all these fears that were branched out and stemmed from the fear of death, which is almost all fears, then all of these fears disappear and dissipate, and you can live a more freeing life, a more tranquil life, which is what the Stoics advocated for. So, Marcus Aurelius says, either dispersal if we're atoms, or unity, extinction, or a change of home. Whatever meets us, if you're religious, then you go to paradise, that's good. If you're not religious and you believe that nothing comes after, then you won't even know that you're dead. So it'll be okay. And then on pain, if the pain truly is unbearable, then you'll be carried away to death, which death is peaceful or it is paradise. It is okay. But they talk about focusing on reason. A quick word from our sponsor, Huel. I really like Huel. When I was writing my book, I was using Huel to power me through every single day. When I had my daily greens, when I had my meals, when I had my shakes,
It stopped me from going to the shop, buying a load of rubbish, buying a load of unhealthy food, wasting loads of money. And these things do add up. Those quick journeys to the shop every day, the money adds up, the unhealthy foods add up, the wasted time adds up. So if I ever get those cravings, I grab a Huel and it fills my cravings. I feel good, it tastes delicious, it's quick and easy. And if you have any interest in the Huel products, then check the link in the description. Let's get back to the episode. So if the pain is not chronic and this pain does not lead to death, and Marcus Aurelius says, don't worry, because it cannot hinder you in your ability to be you. So the things you actually control cannot be hindered by this pain. Epictetus goes on about this saying, you can chain me up, you can tether my arms, you can tether my legs, you can do anything. You can harm my arms, you can harm my legs, you can harm anything. But you will never tether my will. You will never harm my will. Because this thing is untouchable by everyone except me. And then finally, on fame. Look at their minds, the nature of their thoughts, and what they seek or avoid. Basically, we are so grown to having people's approval, having what people tell us, and that becomes the truth, and we follow them because they're saying it with more confidence. If you don't want to be affected by these things, and you want to control yourself totally and confidently, just remember that these people, we think their thoughts are important, but look at all the mistakes they make and the things they probably do in private. We wouldn't take advice from these people. So why do we take criticism from these people? Why do we take direction from these people? Why do we allow these people that we don't have enough respect to take their advice, but we allow the thought of their judgment to stop us from doing what's important in life? And just remember that all will be covered by sand anyway and be forgotten, except your will. So focus on what's important. Focus on your character, the thing you do control. Number 5, the fifth rule, so nothing can affect you, is to remove the mask. Epictetus talks about this, saying, what is death? A scary mask. Take it off, see, it doesn't bite. Eventually, body and soul have to separate just as they existed separately before we were born. So why be upset if it happens now? If it isn't now, it's later. And why now? If that happens to be the case, to accommodate the world cycle, because the world needs things to come into being now, things to come into being later, and it needs things whose time is now complete. Pain too is just a scary mask. Look under it and you will see, the body sometimes suffers, but relief is never far behind. And if that isn't good enough for you, the door stands open. Otherwise, put up with it. The door needs to stay open, whatever the circumstances, with the result that our problems disappear. The fruit of these doctrines is the best and most beautiful, as it ought to be for individuals who are truly educated. Freedom from trouble, freedom from fear, freedom in general. The masses are wrong to say that only freeborn men are entitled to an education. Believe the philosophers instead who say that only educated people are entitled to be called free. I will explain. What else is freedom but the power to live our own life the way we want? So Epictetus is saying these things, these fears we have, fears of death and pain, they're just masks. And this is so true in life. We have all these fears. But the idea is we're just looking at the mask. We're looking at the image of this fear. And, as always, like Scooby-Doo, it's always like a big monster. And then they pull back the mask and it's just a man or it's just a woman, some businessman trying to get people away from his building. And it's never truly the monster that it seems to be. And that's what you must do. You must look at this thing that you're so scared of. You're so scared of death, but you're looking at the mask of death. You're looking at the scary mask, which is what children do. And if you remove the mask and look beneath it, as Epictetus says, we will see there are cycles of life. There are leaves fall from the tree and die into the ground and give nutrients to the earth so new plants can grow. They can then die and give nutrients to the earth. They can feed the birds, that they will die and fall to the ground and break down and give nutrients to the earth. And so is the cycle. And our death is natural just like that. Like the changing of the seasons, like the falling of the leaves of the trees. And that's the truth of it. It's not this scary mask, this scary thing.
And that's what you can do with all your problems. By removing the mask and looking what it really is, it removes the power of disturbance that it held over you. The next rule, the sixth rule to follow so that nothing can affect you, is the Cynic's wild dog analogy. So the Cynics, this came from the Cynics, but the Stoics are hugely impacted by the Cynics. The founder, Zeno, actually studied under Crates, and as did some other Stoics studied under Crates and other famous Cynics. So this idea is the wild dog analogy. If the thing you fear is the wild dogs, then running away, panicking, getting scared of this thing you fear, the wild dogs will nip at your heels, they will attack you, they'll be drawn to you, biting more and more, and the more you panic, the worse they will get. And this is the same with fears in life, and by turning to face your fear, standing your ground, calming down, looking at it, it calms them down. Now the thing is still there, the thing still exists, but it's no longer all scary, it's no longer all exaggerated. And that's the thing, the Stoics talk about this. There's a famous Stoic on a great voyage with many great minds. And he's on this great voyage, and the ship is in a huge storm, and the waves are just battering the hull, and it's looking very scary, like they might drown. And the Stoic becomes scared. And afterwards, when the storm passes, someone comes up to the Stoic trying to be funny, or trying to make a point, saying, you're a Stoic and you say we shouldn't have these fears, but you looked scared in that storm. And the Stoic said, I did. There's only natural. We almost died. Naturally, I get these things, but I didn't make it worse. I didn't panic. I'm not complaining about it now. Once the storm passed, I was okay. And that's the thing. You can't get rid of these fears. You can't just eliminate them. But we don't have to make them worse. We don't have to panic. Just calm down. If the wild dogs are chasing you, just calm down. Look them in the face. Have a bit of courage and see what the fear truly is behind the mask. The seventh, the final rule, so that nothing can affect you according to the Stoics, is that unexpectedness adds to the weight of a blow. It adds to the weight of destruction. It is the unexpectedness that makes things so harmful to us. So what I mean by this is, if you don't expect for a storm to hit, then you get all upset. Oh no, I'm wet. I wasn't prepared. No, this is horrible. But if you say it's gonna rain, I'm gonna step outside into the rain. It's the same thing. In both cases, you're out in the rain. But one, you said it's gonna rain. I'm okay for it. And then if you expect that someone's gonna do something annoying, then you're prepared for it. You know this. And this is what the Stoics called premeditation malorum, or the premeditation of evils that lay ahead. This exercise that the Stoics used to say, I'm going to meet with rude people. I'm going to meet with unfortunate circumstances. I'm going to meet with difficulty, challenges, and I'm prepared for them. And I'll always be prepared. I'm expecting that these things will happen at some point, because these things happen every day. I remember I used to walk to the bus stop, catch the bus, wait at another bus stop, catch another bus. And in this, oftentimes the bus would be late, so I'd miss that bus. Or the bus would be way early and I'd miss that bus. Or the bus driver's rude, or someone on the bus is rude, or it's cold when I'm waiting outside. And I remember when I first used to go through this cycle, I used to be like, I get annoyed. The bus 10 minutes early. If I only got here 5 minutes for it, it's supposed to get here. Now I've missed it. Now I'm going to be late. I was never late, by the way, because I used to always catch the earlier bus. Or the bus driver's rude. It's like, yeah, it's the same bus driver every morning. He's always rude. Or the people on the bus, some of them are rude. Yeah, they're on the same journey, they're on the same cycle as me, the same commute. That's that rude person that's always there. But I used to always let these things disturb me and upset me. And every day, these little things would add up. So by the time I got to work, I'm already in an annoyed mood. And then the way home, I've got to be annoyed. Then at work, there's things that annoy me. But these things happen every single day, or almost daily. And I know that you listening have things like this in your life. Things that slightly annoy you every single day. And you're doing nothing about them. You're just getting annoyed, allowing them to annoy you every single day. And these little things pile up. And they just keep piling up until one day you snap. Or maybe you never snap and they're just bottled up inside you. It causes so much stress affecting every aspect of your life. So expect these things and they start to go away. Start to let go of them. If you expect that someone's going to be rude, it doesn't really bother you that much. It's like you expect dogs, I walk past these dogs to my bus stop. They always bark. I expect this. It doesn't bother me. And it won't bother most people, but it doesn't bother me. But just as I expect those dogs to bark, I expect that some of the bus drivers, because some of them are going to be rude. I go, well, it's just like the dog's barking. This bus driver's rude. I'm still going to be myself. I still say good morning, thank you, have a good day. Don't really bother me. And if it really bothers you that much, do something about it. Complaining about it isn't helping. If something bothers you every single day and it's such a disturbance that it's ruining your life, then change something about it. Stop catching a bus. Tell the bus driver he's rude. I don't know. Do something. But complaining doesn't help. Anyway, that is 7 rules to follow so that nothing can affect you according to the ancient Stoics. And that is it for episode 33 of 100 Stoic School. If that was helpful, then subscribe so you don't miss every other episode for 100 days of Stoic School. Or if you're new here, go back to episode 1 and you've got 33 episodes to catch up on some really important, really helpful topics, because the idea of Stoic School is just to help you live the good life, following this ancient philosophy that's helped me live the good life. So thank you for listening. I hope you have a beautiful day.